Hola, womb lovers, doulas to be, mamas, loved ones, and all the people in between. I'm sharing my learnings after reading the Natural Pregnancy book written by Aviv Jill Romm, as well as my interactions with Mama Glow, Hip Guide to Your Fabulous Abundant Pregnancy, written by LaFemme Thomas. Um, Both Romm and Thomas are mamas. Romm is a midwife, a birth doula, and Thomas is a holistic nutrition guide, mama, birth person. And Romm does a really lovely job of grounding the pregnancy experience and birth in the over medicalization of this experience, the myth, the lie that female bodied people cannot bring life. Pero somos la vida. We are like Mama Tierra, life givers. Um, and what these beautiful women do together, if you put their texts together, is they remind us of this, that we are life. They bring together, ask us to call on body, soul, and spirit, ask them to be one, not just for the pregnancy or during the pre-pregnancy phase, but forever. Something that the society doesn't award many of us. And a lot of what I'm taking from these texts is the way that we prepare our bodies for pregnancy is going to highly impact our labor, the pregnancy itself, and of course our postpartum experience, and whether we decide to procreate or not. The pre-seed body, you can see my beautiful diagram here. The pre-seed body is that body, ese cuerpo that needs time to fertilize. We need this time to fertilize our soils and souls for the experience of carrying life, which means a huge detox Thomas advocates. She calls for a detox at all levels, the physical, the relationship, the body, the spiritual, and of course the soul, healing past trauma. The detox that she recommends begins with looking at clutter in all these areas. So physical clutter in our homes, our rooms, our kitchen spaces, to our relationships. Are they toxic? Are they healthy? Are they encouraging us to grow, to be our best selves, to glow? And the body, looking at the relationships that we have towards movement in our body, the food that we consume, and what Thomas spends a good amount of time of her text establishing is this pre-seed body is the soul's time to set the intention. How do I want this pregnancy to go? What do I want in it? Why do I want to procreate? She asks us to journal about. She asks us really to find our heart's song, find that which makes us want to give life through this process of letting go and surrendering to the goodness, the love that we have to produce out into the world. And she does so through different mindful practices of writing, prompts, meditations, visualizations, and both Mama Glow, Thomas, and Romm are inspired by yoga movement practices during this pre-pregnancy, pre-seed stage, asking us to begin to prepare our physical body for this act, beginning to just sitting taller, learning to stand with our head high to the sky, to the goddesses, the gods that greet us, that make us the wombivers, that make us the life givers. And they ask us to invite us into this journey of deeper self, of sinking into self through these practices that are both very spiritual and detoxifying. During this pre-seed time, we look toward herbs that tonify our uterus, that are about reproductive health, like chasteberry and peppermint and red raspberry, white tea, lady's mantle, and nettle leaf, mama nettle, which will be with us throughout our whole journey. Thomas gives a pretty beautiful guideline during this pre-pregnancy time, how to really prepare at all of these levels. And she has 11 guidelines, which include stay fluid, drink that water. Get up and go. Integrating movement, yoga, exercise into your physical body. Eating your veggies. This is a time to eat good, eat well, establish some practices for when we hit nourishing you, nourishing seed, all these other phases. We are in a space where it's not as hard. We're not taking on the being pregnant part and the discomforts maybe with being pregnant or the beautiful joys. We have already established a certain guidance of how we want to nourish ourselves, both physically through food. Guideline 4: get your sea on. Being near water, being near real crystallized hard salt, inviting mar to wash us, and also to nourish us, to support us in acquiring some nutrients in moderation. Soaking up that sun, getting in that vitamin D is guideline 5. Got fat, guideline 6 is asking us to look into higher fat, healthy meals, foods. Warning around soy, guideline 7. She moves on to beginning to know your vitamins, to guideline 11, know your ABCs. Thomas provides us with a detoxifying plan for the pre-seed body, 3 actually, that are gentle and not difficult to maintain, including with very helpful stipulations of like what's in, what can you be eating, to what's out, what should be cut out to begin this detox, and what to expect both the physical and the emotional body. A lot of the work that we're doing in this pre-seed space is about the psyche, is about relearning our power. It's about sinking into women's wisdom, Romm calls it. And this is our time to hold space for ourselves. Thomas reminds us to honor what you are co-creating, the life that you want to see. It's about aligning our actions with our desire. And Romm also advocates that maybe this is a time to start thinking about a birth plan, thinking about whether you want to have a home birth, birth at a center, have a birth doula present, a midwife, family physician. The opportunities and visions of how to give birth and bring life into this world are endless. Romm advocates for more holistic practices, including things like home births. Here we are moving into otra etapa de embarazo, right? This part that is about nourishing you, the first trimester. The first trimester is all about your meditation, yoga, communication with your partner and family. That's about you, your own reflections, your relationship to your mama, your relationship to mothering. This is a time also where we're experiencing discomfort, increased pee, increased urination. Our blood is rising, our vaginal discharge is off the charts. Panty liners, staying away from diuretics like dandelion, burdock during this time are probably a solid plan. Practicing pelvic floor exercises, which is a practice that we will carry on through the 2nd and 3rd trimester as well to support labor, preparing the uterus for labor. Other symptoms, ailments during this time include fatigue. And what both Thomas and Romm advocate, is having a diet that is about 20% protein. Carbohydrates about 50%, fats, which are concentrated source of energy, having a good amount of them because they help absorb vitamins, hitting up vitamin C, magnesium, calcium, green leafy veggies, iron, high-fat foods, some salt, and fluid. You gotta drink that water. What happens in the 2nd trimester, nourishing the seed, a lot of our focus goes to supporting the baby's development, physical development. In trimester 1, the baby has formed the fundamental structures of like the liver, the heart is forming these structures, but hasn't formed the meat of them. So it's sort of skeletal. And trimester 2, we're feeding the baby, that we're nourishing that seed. It's so important that our nutrition, our food, is just on point during this time. They advocate so that our seed can grow and receive all the yummy vitamins and nutrients that it needs to become a whole being by the 3rd trimester. Um, and I'm I'm called and drawn to spend some time in these earlier phases, is in our practice as postpartum doulas, in our practice through Cerrar las Caderas. We'll focus, more on what's happening here in the birthing phase, whether our mamas experienced trauma, whether our mamas hemorrhage, whether whatever happened to our mamas during this experience. Nos va a informar qué pasa en esta parte, right? The part of postpartum, restoring the lands. So my focus while reading both of these goddesses' texts and life's work, it was to consider, how do we plant the seed? How do we nourish the meat? How do we nourish the seed to prepare for this cultivation that happens in trimester 3, where we're called to bring together all of this synergy of our comunidad, of positive communication with our partners, of a healthy body, of a healthy spiritual practice of communicating with ourselves, our past, and our futures to be, which our seed represents how we will become mothers and parents. These are some of my learnings from Mama Glow and the natural birth pregnancy. Gracias por escuchar.